एही कार्यक्रमर सह प्रायोजक हेले
Welcome dear students, myself Bani Priyadarshini, lecturer in Zoology, Jupiter Higher Secondary School. Yesterday we were discussing about the human digestive system and we have already discussed the different parts which are present in human digestive system. So, which parts we have discussed? First one is mouth, second one is buccal cavity, third one is pharynx, fourth one is esophagus, and then stomach. So, yesterday we were discussing about stomach. So, what is stomach and what is its position? Stomach is the part which has the capacity to store the food material for some period and it has the ability to digest the protein content that is present within the food. You can see the diagram and can see the position of the stomach clearly within the diagram. So, what is the position of the stomach? Mainly it is present within the abdominal cavity. So, as we are a mammal, so naturally in our case the body cavity is divided and it is divided because of the presence of diaphragm. Diaphragm is a dome shaped structure which divides the body cavity into two halves, the upper thoracic cavity and the lower abdominal cavity. So, the stomach is positioned within the left side of the abdominal cavity which is largest in its structure and it is J-shaped. So, if we analyze the position, the structure of the stomach, so this is the structure of the stomach, this is stomach, this is esophagus, which leads into the next part, that is stomach. So, it is stomach. So, the esophagus which is also known as food pipe that leads into the J-shaped structure that is known as stomach. So, stomach has a convex side and a concave side. These sides are known as the curvatures of the stomach. The curvatures so may be greater curvature or they may be lesser curvature. So, the stomach in case of human is divided and it is divided into different parts. What are the parts? The first one is the cardiac part of the stomach, second one is fundus, third one is pyloric part of the stomach and then body. So, these are the four different parts of the stomach. The first part of the stomach, this is the part which is present closer towards the heart. This is known as the cardiac part of the stomach. This part of the stomach which is funnel shaped and it is known as fundus. The maximum part of the stomach is occupied by the body and the last part of the stomach which leads into the small intestine, that is known as the pyloric part of the stomach. So, when we are taking the food and the food is entering into the stomach, why the food is unable to again return into the esophagus? That is because of some particular structures, because in between the esophagus and the cardiac part there is the presence of a sphincter and that sphincter is known as cardiac sphincter. Sphincter is the muscle fiber which regulates the closing and the opening of any type of an aperture. So, this type of the opening which is guarded by cardiac sphincter. Similarly, in between the pyloric part of the stomach and small intestine, there is the presence of another sphincter which is known as pyloric sphincter. So, these cardiac sphincter and pyloric sphincter, they are responsible to prevent the backflow of the food material. As the food will enter into the stomach, it is unable to again return to the esophagus, and as the food will enter into the small intestine, again it will unable to enter into stomach. That is because of the valves, and the valves are known as, or sphincters, which are known as pyloric sphincter and cardiac sphincter. So, this is about the structure of the stomach. The stomach within its interior contains a number of folded structures. These folded structures which are present within the stomach, they are known as rugae. So, what is the function of the rugae? They are responsible to hold the food material, and they also helps in the grinding of the food substances. So, this is about the next part of the alimentary canal, that is stomach. The stomach leads into the next part, that is small intestine. So, small intestine, which is regarded as the largest or the longest. Small intestine is regarded as the longest part of the alimentary canal, whose length is approximately 6.25 meter. So, out of the 6.25 meter, the small intestine is divided. It is divided into 3 different parts. So, what are the 3 different parts which are present within the small intestine? First one is duodenum, second one is jejunum, and third one is ileum. So, these are the 3 different parts of the small intestine, which is regarded as the longest part of the alimentary canal. Out of the 3 different parts, the smallest part is the duodenum and the longest part is the ileum. If we analyze the structure of the small intestine, it is an example of tubular structure, highly coiled, having a lumen. Lumen means an internal cavity. So, on either side of the lumen, there is the presence of a number of finger like projections. So, those finger like projections which are lining the lumen of the intestine, those are known as intestinal villi. So, what is the function of intestinal villi? Villi are the finger like structures, and as they are present near the intestinal region, they are known as intestinal villi. The intestinal villi increases the surface area, they occupies the maximum surface area, because of which the lumen becomes narrower and the rate of absorption becomes maximum. So, this is the function of villi. They mainly participate during the process of the absorption of the food materials. So, it is about the small intestine, that is formed by duodenum, jejunum and ileum. If we analyze the structure of duodenum, it is a C-shaped structure, and ileum, which is a longest part, that just above the ileum there is the presence of the jejunum. So, if we compare the length of the jejunum is approximately 2.5 meter and the length of the ileum is approximately 3.5 meter. So, it is about the small intestine. Then the next part of the alimentary canal, that is the large intestine. Large intestine. So, large intestine is the next part of the alimentary canal. Because of its wider diameter, it is known as large intestine. It is again divided. It is divided into cecum, colon, rectum, and anus. So, the large intestine is divided, it is divided into 4 different parts. The first one is cecum, second one is colon, third one is rectum and fourth one is anus. The first part of the large intestine, that is cecum. If we see the structure of the cecum, this is the structure of the cecum. It is a pouch like structure, one end is opened and another end is closed. This is a pouch or sac like structure where one end is opened and another end is closed. So, near the closed end there is the presence of a vermiform appendix. The appendix is the vestigial organ, because what do you mean by vestigial organ? Because this organ was functional in case of herbivores, because herbivores they mainly consume the plant materials having cellulose, but in our case as we are omnivores, in this case the appendix is non-functional. It never participate in the digestion of cellulose. So, the plant substances like all the green vegetables that we are consuming, that is mainly eliminated from the body in the form of roughages, that helps in making the fecal matter elimination easier. So, this is the major function of the cellulose that we are consuming. The cellulose can never be digested within our body because of the presence of the vestigial organ, that is vermiform appendix. It is vestigial because it is non-functional in our case, but it was functional in our ancestors. So, this is about cecum. It is a pouch like structure or sac like structure. One end is opened, another end is closed. Closed end contains the vermiform appendix, which is a vestigial organ that helps in the cellulose digestion in case of herbivores. Then the cecum leads into the next part, that is colon. Colon is regarded as the longest part of the alimentary canal. Colon, which is, this is the structure of cecum, this is cecum, and the cecum leads into the next part, that is colon. Again, throughout the length, the colon contains a number of pouch like structures, and these pouch like structures which are present throughout the colon, they are known as haustra. So, these are the pouch like structures which are present throughout the length of the colon, and these pouch like structures are known as haustra. So, the colon which is divided, and it is divided into ascending colon, this is transverse colon, this is descending colon, and the last one, that is sigmoid shaped, and that is known as the sigmoid colon. So, the complete colon is divided. It is divided into ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon and sigmoid colon. Out of the 4 different parts of the colon, the ascending colon is the shortest one. Throughout the length of the colon, it contains a number of pouch like structures, and those pouch like structures are known as haustra. Within the colon, there is the presence of band like structure like this ribbon like structure, and this ribbon or band like structure which is present throughout the complete length of the colon, that is known as tania coli. And the last part of the colon leads into the next part of the large intestine, that is rectum. So, if this is the colon, this is the last part of the colon, it will lead into a pouch like structure, and this pouch like structure is known as rectum. This is rectum, and the major function of the rectum is that it can store the fecal matter for certain period of time. The rectum opens to outside through an opening, and that opening is known as anus. So, this is the complete structure of the first part of the digestive system, that is about alimentary canal. So, we have discussed all the parts of the alimentary canal, that is starting from mouth to anus, within which there is the presence of buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, small intestine, large intestine and anus. So, within our alimentary canal we can see there is the presence of two openings, one for the intake of the food material, that is known as mouth, another for the elimination of the undigested food material, that is anus. So, because of which our alimentary canal is said to be complete alimentary canal, or our digestive system is said to be complete digestive system. But if we analyze the structure of the stomach along with a structure of a stomach of a ruminant, there is some difference. What is the difference in between the stomach of human and stomach of a ruminant? Ruminant means, for example, all the cattle who are taking the food, then they will sleep, and when they are sleeping again they will cause the backflow of the food material and they will chew the cellulose material that they have consumed. So, in that cases, in case of ruminants, the stomach is said to be compound stomach, because the stomach has 4 different separate components. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, what is your doubt?
Hello?
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 What is your doubt?
What is the length of large intestine and small intestine?
The length of the small intestine that is approximately 6.25 meter. So, it is the longest part of the alimentary canal. But if we compare the length of the large intestine, it is lesser in comparison to small intestine, only the diameter is larger in comparison to small intestine. Hello? So, this is about the complete digestive system. So, what were we discussing? We were discussing about the structure of the stomach in case of ruminants. In case of ruminants, the stomach is said to be compound stomach, compound stomach. Why it is known as compound stomach in case of ruminants? Because it is formed by 4 different parts. The 4 different parts which are present within the ruminant stomach, ruminants. In case of ruminants, the stomach is said to be compound stomach, having 4 different parts. So, what are the different parts? First one is rumen, second one is reticulum, third one is omasum, fourth one is abomasum. So, these are the different parts which are present within the compound stomach of ruminant. It is the difference between the ruminants and our stomach. In those cases, in case of ruminants, within the rumen, the food materials which are taken by the animals, they are stored, and mainly rumen and reticulum, it contains a number of bacteria, and that bacteria helps in the process of cellulose digestion. So, because of this, the stomach is said to be compound stomach. So, we have discussed about the first part of the digestive system, that is alimentary canal. Let us take a break. Hello, what is your doubt?
What is the name of the ribbon band on colon?
That is Tania coli. That is known as Tania coli.
Hello, madam.
Yes, Tania coli.
What is the name of the
Tania coli. So, this is about the first part of the alimentary canal, that this is about the complete alimentary canal that we have discussed. Then the digestive system of human, that is divided, and the digestive system includes the two parts, that is the first one is alimentary canal and second one is digestive glands. So, we have discussed about the structure of alimentary canal. So, next one is digestive glands. Gland means, what do you mean by gland? Gland means a single cell or a group of cell that has some property to secrete some of the particular substances. So, mainly the glands are of three different types. First one is exocrine gland, second one is endocrine gland, and third one is mixed gland. How the secretory product is carried on this basis. There are other divisions. So, the digestive glands which are included within the mechanism of digestion, they mainly include, first one is the salivary gland. So, salivary gland. The salivary gland in case of human, it is of three different types. The number is one pair in each type. So, as there is the presence of three different types of the gland and each type having 2 in number. So, naturally there is 3 pairs of salivary glands present in case of human. Okay student, what is your doubt?
Hello madam.
Yes?
Hello madam.
Yes, your voice is audible. Ask dear.
हाँ मैडम मोर डाउट अच्छी कि कर्ड चुइंग एनिमल की इंपोर्टेंस कनो. व्हाट इज कर्ड एंड व्हाट इज कर्ड चुइंग एनिमल?
What is? Hello?
What is कर्ड and what is कर्ड चुइंग एनिमल?
Which animal? Which animal?
कर्ड चुइंग एनिमल. कर्ड CUD कर्ड चुइंग एनिमल. व्हाट इज कर्ड and what is कर्ड चुइंग एनिमल?
Actually, which animal I am not clearly, the voice is not audible. Which animal I am unable to hear? Okay, the first one is digestive gland. So, within the digestive glands, the first gland is salivary gland, and the number of salivary gland in case of human is 3 pairs. So, 3 pairs of salivary glands which are present in case of human, they include parotid salivary gland. First one is parotid salivary gland, second one is submaxillary or submandibular salivary gland, and third one is sublingual salivary gland. So, these are the 3 different types of the salivary glands which are present in case of human. Out of the 3 different types of the salivary glands, the parotid salivary gland is the largest salivary gland. The parotid salivary gland, whose position is just near the cheek region, just below the ear pinna. The salivary gland is an example of exocrine gland, means the secretory matter that is secreted from this salivary gland, that is carried through respective ducts. So, in case of parotid salivary gland, as it is present below the ear pinna near the cheek region, but it is secreted within the buccal cavity. So, how it will be carried? It will be carried through a particular duct, and that duct is known as Stenson's duct. Stenson's duct is responsible to carry the secretions which are secreted from the parotid salivary gland. The second one is submaxillary or submandibular salivary gland, whose position is just below the jaw, that is mainly the lower jaw. Behind the lower jaw or below the lower jaw, the submaxillary or submandibular salivary gland is present, and the secretion of this particular gland is carried into the buccal cavity through another duct, and that is known as Wharton's duct. And the third one, that is the sublingual salivary gland. From the name it is clearly understood that the sublingual salivary gland is present below the tongue, and the secretion is carried through another duct, and that is known as duct of Rivinus. So, the salivary gland secretes saliva. Saliva which is secreted within the buccal cavity, whose pH is approximately 6.8, and its volume that is secreted daily, that is approximately 1.5 liter. It mainly participates in the carbohydrate digestion, but for the action of the salivary amylase that is secreted from the salivary gland secretes salivary amylase, which is also known as ptyalin. Okay, student, what is your doubt?
Madam, what is called?
What is?
What is called? CUD.
What is called? By the chewing
Yes,
of
madam.
the
What is
cellulose,
called?
when the ruminants they will chew the food material that they are consuming, after that will get mixed with the bacterium which is present within their stomach, that I have discussed, that is mainly present within the rumen and reticulum, that is mainly the bacterium rumenococcus. When that will get mixed with that, the cellulose will form a soft material that is known as cod, that is also known as chewing of cod, so that the cellulose will be changed into simple fatty acids.
Okay. Okay.
Then what about the secretion of the salivary gland? So, the salivary glands which are present within the different parts, they are responsible for the secretion of saliva. Saliva contains the enzyme that is salivary amylase, which is also known as ptyalin, that mainly participate in the process of carbohydrate digestion, because the salivary amylase that forms the carbohydrate that is present in polysaccharide form into either disaccharide or monosaccharide. But for the action of the salivary amylase, an optimum condition is required. So, what is that optimum condition? The temperature must be 37 degree, the pH must be 6.8, so that the salivary amylase will be functional and it will convert the polysaccharide into disaccharide or monosaccharide, so that the food can be digested. So, this is about the salivary gland which is present within the buccal cavity and that participate during the process of digestion. The first digestive gland is the salivary gland. The second digestive gland which is present within the stomach, that is known as gastric gland. Okay. Okay, dear student, what is your question?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Ask. Please ask.
Ma'am, why the saliva sometimes smells bad?
Why? Why?
Sometimes smells bad. Hello.
Your voice is not clearly audible, dear. Please say loudly.
Why the saliva sometimes smells bad? Why the saliva?
Why the saliva? Oh, that is because of, oh, wow, okay. That is not because of the saliva, dear. That is because of the presence of some particular bacterium or some of the particular protozoans which are present within the gum. When the gum will get infected by some bacterium or some protozoans and we are not properly cleaning our teeth, that time some plaque will be formed, so that the saliva will smell bad. But the saliva is without any odor. Okay. So, the next gland that is present within the stomach, that is known as gastric gland. So, the gastric gland which is present within the stomach, that is formed by a number of cells. So, what are the different cells which are present within the gastric gland? They mainly contains peptic cells, they mainly contains oxyntic cell, that may be mucus secreting cells, or that may be argentaphine cells. So, these are the 4 different types of the cells which are present within the gastric gland, which is present within the stomach. So, what is the function of each type of the cell? Mainly the first one, that is the chief cell or the principal cell or the peptic cell, that mainly causes the secretion of the enzyme which helps in the protein digestion. Then the second one, that is the oxyntic cell, that mainly participate in making the pH of the stomach in an acidic level, so that when any of the foreign substance is entering into our body has the ability to prevent ourselves from that foreign substance. So, this is an example of defense mechanism. So, that is maintained because of the acidic pH that is created by the oxyntic cells which are present in the stomach. The oxyntic cells mainly secrete HCl, which keeps the stomach in an acidic condition. The pH may varies in between 1.5 to 2.5. So, within that acidic pH, any of the foreign substance, if that will enter, that is unable to reside within that area and cause any type of the infection. And the third one, that is the mucus secreting cell. The mucus, the name indicates that it is the material which contains less amount of the fluid. So, naturally as the water content is less within the secretions of the mucus secreting cells, its major function is to lubricate the wall of the alimentary canal, to lubricate the wall of the stomach, so that when the food is entering into it, the wall will not get destroyed and the wall can be prevented, the food can be thoroughly mixed and it can be easily digested. So, okay student, what is your question?
What is the milk digestive enzyme in adult human?
What is the
milk digestive enzyme in adult human?
What is the
Milk digestive enzyme in adult human?
What is okay. These are the digestive enzymes in adult human. All are the digestive enzymes. Salivary gland, that is secreting salivary amylase, then gastric gland, that is also secreting pepsinogen, which also participate, then liver, then we will again discuss pancreas. These are also responsible for the secretion of some enzymes and hormones which participate in the digestion. So, all are functional in case of adult human. Okay. So, this is about the gastric gland which is present in the stomach. Then the third one, that is small intestine. The small intestine which is with the small intestine is the part of the alimentary canal that participate during the mechanism of digestion, also in the process of absorption, because the small intestine is also formed by a group of cells which are known as crypts of Leverkuhn. Crypts of Leverkuhn are the cells which are present within the small intestine, and they will responsible to secrete a number of digestive juices which helps in the mechanism of digestion. Then the next one, that is liver. So, we will discuss about liver. So, let us see the diagram of the liver. Diagram of the liver. So, this is the diagram of the liver which is present within our abdominal cavity, which is reddish brown in its color. You can clearly see from the diagram the liver is divided, and it is divided into right and left lobe of the liver. So, from the right lobe of the liver, for example, if this one is the right, this is our right hand. So, the liver which is present in this side, that will be the left liver, and the liver, that is the part of the liver that is present in this side, that will be the right part of the liver, because this is, if we stand in this position, this is our left part and this is our right part. So, from the left part of the liver, the duct which carries the secretion, that is the left hepatic duct, and from the right part of the liver, the duct which carries the secretion, that is known as right hepatic duct. So, the left and the right hepatic ducts which are responsible for carrying the bile. Bile is secreted from the liver, that is carried through the right and the left hepatic duct, and that is stored within the gallbladder. You can see the position of the gallbladder just behind the liver, which can store the bile that is produced from the liver. The duct of the gallbladder is known as cystic duct. So, when the cystic duct will get combined with the duct that is coming from the right and the left part of the liver, that will form common hepatic duct. Or you see from the diagram, the cystic duct and the left and the right duct, they will get combined and they will form the common bile duct. Just previously, the cystic duct and the common hepatic duct will get mixed, and when they will mix with the cystic duct, hepatic duct with cystic duct, they will form the common bile duct. The common bile duct will open near the C-shaped structure of the small intestine, that is duodenum. Duodenum is the C-shaped structure of the small intestine is duodenum. So, here the duct will open. In this area, you can see from the diagram, there is the presence of another gland that is known as pancreas. So, liver is the largest gland of the body and pancreas is the second largest gland of the body. So, pancreas is irregular in its structure, it is present in between the two limbs of the C-shaped structure. So, the pancreas which is present, the duct of the pancreas which secretes the pancreatic juice, and the duct that is the common bile duct, when they will get combined, they will open near this region, near the C-shaped structure of the small intestine, and this area is known as hepatopancreatic duct. Hepatopancreatic duct means, hepatic means liver, pancreatic means pancreas, means hepatopancreatic duct has the ability to carry the secretions of both liver and pancreas that will open near the duodenum. So, this is about the liver. The next one is pancreas. So, this is the position of the pancreas, and what are the pancreas? Okay, let's take a break, dear. Okay, we were discussing about pancreas. So, pancreas is regarded as the second largest gland of the body. It is an example of mixed gland, or it is said to be, it is an example of heterocrine gland. Heterocrine gland. What do you mean by heterocrine gland or mixed gland? Because according to the nature, how the secretory matter is carried from the secretion area to the target site, according to that basis glands are divided. That I have already told. The glands are divided into exocrine, endocrine and mixed gland. So, pancreas is an example of mixed gland or heterocrine gland. Why? Because some parts of the pancreas are exocrine and some parts of the pancreas are endocrine, because of which it is also known as mixed gland. Exocrine means, so those parts of the pancreas are responsible for the secretion of the pancreatic juice. The pancreatic juice is secreted from the exocrine part of the pancreas, which will be formed by acinar cells. Acinar cells are the exocrine part of the pancreas and that mainly secretes pancreatic juice, and the endocrine part of the pancreas which mainly secretes the hormones, that is formed by a number of cells. So, what are the different cells which are forming the endocrine part of the pancreas? That is collectively known as, the endocrine part is formed by islets of Langerhans. So, the islets of Langerhans, that is formed by a number of cells. What are the different cells? First one is alpha cells, beta, gamma, delta and PP cells. These are the different cells which are forming the endocrine part of the pancreas. The alpha cells which are responsible for the secretion of a hormone. The exocrine part always secretes enzymes, whereas the endocrine parts always secretes hormones. The alpha cells are responsible for the secretion of glucagon. The beta cells are responsible for the secretion of insulin. The gamma cells are responsible for the secretion of gastrin. The delta cells are responsible for the secretion of somatostatin, and the PP cell secretes pancreatic polypeptides. Out of these cells, the alpha and the beta cells, they are antagonistic in their mode of action. Antagonistic means opposite. The alpha cells which secrete glucagon and the beta cells which secrete insulin, they are opposite in their mode of action. How they are opposite in their mode of action? Because in the deficiency of the insulin, there occur diabetes mellitus. So, what will happen when a person suffers from diabetes mellitus? Gradually the sugar level within the blood and the urine is found to be increased. It indicates that the glucose cannot be converted into glycogen when there will be the absence of insulin. So, insulin that is secreted from the beta cells, that causes the conversion of glucose into glycogen, whereas the glucagon that is secreted from the alpha cells, that causes the reverse process, that it converts glycogen into glucose. So, this is about the different cells. Hello?
Hello.
What is your question?
Hello.
What is your question? Hello?
Ma'am, what is the function of insulin in the disease of diabetes?
Okay. Insulin is secreted from the beta cells of the pancreas, and insulin is mainly responsible because when you analyze a diabetic person, what we are doing? We are examining either the blood sample or the urine. So, what are we examining within the blood or urine? We are examining the amount of sugar. If we are examining and finding the amount of sugar within the blood sample or the urine is more, it indicates the person is suffering from diabetes. That shows that the insulin is responsible for the conversion of glucose to glycogen. If there will be the deficiency of insulin, the glucose cannot be converted into glycogen, so that gradually the amount of the glucose will increase in the bloodstream, and that is also eliminated through urine. So, this will happen in the diabetic person. Okay. So, this is about the digestive glands. So, next one is, so we have completed the human digestive system, that is in two headings. First one is the alimentary canal and second one is the digestive glands. So, after the completion of the digestion, what will have after the analyzing the structure of the system, let us consider how the process of digestion will occur, and it is completed through how many steps. So, after analyzing the structure, the process of digestion, that is the mechanism of digestion, that is completed through a number of steps. So, how the digestion is completed? The digestion, that is known as physiology of digestion. Physiology of digestion means what is the structure of the parts which are participating during digestion and how they will act. So, internal organs and their functions, that is known as physiology. So, physiology of digestion, that is completed in different headings. In the first step, we are taking the food, that is intake of food material. Second step, there will occur digestion. During the process of digestion, a number of food substances will be digested. Within the buccal cavity, mainly the carbohydrates digested in the presence of the enzyme salivary amylase, and that will form the disaccharides or monosaccharides, which are the simple forms of sugar. Then within the stomach, in presence of the protein digesting enzymes, there will be the digestion of the proteins that we are consuming, and that is broken down into the simpler form, that is amino acid. And at last, within the small intestine, maximum digestion will occur in presence of the enzymes and the hormones which are secreted. So, mostly protein and lipid digestion, that is mostly completed within the small intestine. So, this is known as digestion. And the third step, that is within the physiology of digestion, after digestion the food should be absorbed. So, that one, the third step is absorption. After digestion the food will be absorbed within which part of the alimentary canal? Mainly within the small intestine. Small intestine is the main part of the alimentary canal that participate during the process of absorption, because the lumen of the small intestine is provided with a number of finger like structures. So, the third step in the physiology of digestion, that is absorption, and the fourth one, that is assimilation. Assimilation. Assimilation means after the absorption of the food material, that is being absorbed through the blood, and that will enter into the cell, and the cell which contains the oxygen, when the foodstuff will reach near that area, that will get oxidized and that will liberate energy. That energy is utilized for doing all the metabolic activities, for the mechanism of growth, for the repairment of the lost part. All are provided by the nutrients which are present within the food material. That is known as assimilation. Assimilation is the process in which the absorbed food will be used in the respective cells, and there will be the liberation of energy for doing all the chemical processes which are occurring within the body of a living system. And the last one, that is the release or the removal of undigested food, the removal of the undigested food. So, the physiology of digestion is completed in these steps. Physiology of digestion is completed in the 5 steps. First one is the intake of food, second one is the digestion of the food material, third one is the absorption of the food material, fourth one is the assimilation of the food material, and the last one, that is egestion. It is also known as egestion. Egestion means the removal of the undigested food material. So, from which opening the undigested food materials are eliminated? That is from the anus. So, the alimentary canal which ends with anus has an opening, and that is the opening through which the food materials which are not being digested, those are removed from the body in the form of fecal matter. So, the intake of food is also known as ingestion, and the elimination of the food material is also known as egestion. In this way, the complete process, that is the physiology of digestion, is completed within the body of human. So, within the physiology of digestion, we have discussed about the structure of alimentary canal and how the glands are participating and what are the steps, how the food is being digested, and how the undigested food material is being eliminated from the body, that is through anus. So, these are the ways how the digestion is completed. So, this is said to be the complete digestive system, as there is the presence of 2 openings. So, in this way the human digestive system is completed. Okay, students. आज ह्यूमन डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम डिस्कशन आमर सरीगला बोध हुए मु भावुची तुम मैंने किसी या द्वारा बेनिफिटेड होइतिबो लेट्स होप ए प्रॉस्परस एंड हेल्दी फ्यूचर टेक केयर गुड बाय।
ଏହି କାର୍ଯ୍ୟକ୍ରମର ସହ ପ୍ରାୟୋଜକ ହେଲେ